All right, in section 7, we talk about giving presentations, which can kind of be intimidating for a lot of people, but it's really not so bad, especially if you keep some of these tips and tricks in mind that we're going to cover in this presentation. So when we're talking about business presentations, a lot of time it's an oral presentation. And an oral presentation is the speech given to a person or group presenting specific information. Usually it's about research or about a certain topic. And when you're doing a presentation, you always want to have a goal in mind. When you're putting that presentation together, what point is it you're going to try to make to this group? What important topic or what information are you trying to get across? So make sure you have a clear goal in mind about the point you're trying to make and what information you need to support it. Okay, you need to have some facts in place from some good sources that support your points. Make sure once you have your goals in place, you go into planning the presentation. You're going to definitely want to budget some time, depending on the presentation or whether it's a school presentation or for a business. There might be a time limit, so make sure you're budgeting your time appropriately. Make sure it is well organized and it flows from subject to subject. You don't want to jump back and forth in between topics and be like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this about this, which was 4 slides ago. So make sure everything's nicely organized and in a good, smooth, flowing manner. Make sure to always include an overview and a summary, and you're actually going to do that as well in this 7S assignment, which I'll go over in the next video. But you're going to include an overview slide that usually includes kind of all the main points you're going to talk about in your presentation. And then as you go through your presentation, you will hit all of those points with their supporting factors. And then at the end of the presentation, you usually give a summary. So you kind of list those main points that you just made again, why they were important, and then close. And when you're planning your presentation, also make sure you keep your audience in mind. Is this a classroom? Is this a room full of other business professionals? Is this your employees? Okay, know who it is you're presenting to, and that can kind of set the tone for the message that you're trying to get across. Continuing with oral presentations, it's really a good idea to help kind of engage the audience. Maybe start off with a joke or some humor, lighten the mood a little bit. Have some things where the audience can participate, maybe ask a general question, show of hands, whatever. Your text kind of suggests you could add in some music, but as long as you're keeping it professional, you don't want to do too much of any of these things and really get off topic. Rehearse, 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 practice, practice, practice. The best thing that can help, especially with nerves, if you're nervous about giving a presentation, always, always, always practice it ahead of time. Look in a mirror, make eye contact with yourself in the mirror, practice your lines, what it is you're going to say. You don't want to have like a script, but you want to make sure that you know what the main points are that you want to talk about and the facts that you want to use to support those topics. Make sure you're speaking up. Especially if you're in a big conference room, you want to make sure that someone can hear you all the way in the back. So speak up, have a good, clear, confident, calm voice. Take some deep breaths. I've given a lot of presentations in my life, and I definitely get the voice jitters or the shaky voice kind of just because it's nerves, it's trying to speak loudly and clearly, and what have you. So relax, take a couple deep breaths, and then continue on with your presentation. There are some different presentation software out there that we can use to create said presentations. One is called Impress, and this is by OpenOffice. So if you went through the course overview, they actually had you download and install OpenOffice, and some of you use that program. Others prefer to use Microsoft Office, and their presentation software is PowerPoint. And that's actually the software that is used most often, especially in school settings. So that's the software that I use to demonstrate in the video over the assignment. So when you create a presentation with these softwares, the presentation is basically a group of screens with text and images used to share information, facts, ideas, research, and other information. So each of these screens then is made up of what are called slides. So as I'm going through on slide to slide, I have different information on each slide. And you can also include transitions in between slides. So transitions is an effect that appears between two slides in a presentation. It kind of just helps to make it smooth, flow a little more smoothly from one slide to the next. Again, with something like transitions, you don't want to get too crazy and have a bunch of variation because that can distract the viewer, make it look a little less professional. So make sure you're just sticking with something simple, clean, and professional when you're dealing with transitions. Okay, and that is basically the text for section 7. Again, just going over the main points of a presentation and some to-dos and not to-dos. So the next video, I actually go over your assignment 7S because they have you create a short presentation over the career that you should have looked up several websites for a career and emailed that to me in the last couple sections. So, so you should already have those websites bookmarked, and now you can go and watch the next video over creating a presentation and help you with that assignment 7S.